It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning guys, 29th of July, we are approaching end of the month. It's 9:50 AM CET, 8:50 AM London. Piotr here, and this time we are going to update the crypto market, meaning we are going to discuss Bitcoin, Ethereum, both negative versus dollar. Bitcoin negative while below 10k. Ethereum negative while below $230. So there are a few things, especially from higher time frame perspective, we are going to discuss. But first, risk warning as usual, guys. Please bear in mind trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors who can sustain a loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay, USA. Right here, right now. Approaching end of the month, time to update crypto market here on Global Light Forex YouTube channel. Let's start with Bitcoin, and let's start with the monthly chart. Why I'm saying doesn't look great? It's because if you are going to, we are not going to discover America, but if you are going to check this and this, well, immediately following what happened after the first thing when we hit 20k, following what happened here, right, bulls cannot be so happy seeing current market situation. And as usual, I'm very crypto positive, right? But I do understand some eventually a little bit deeper move is still possible. And basically that's what we discussed, guys. If you remember previously, we were trying to discuss what happened here on the monthly chart. We're trying to make the template on and the path on the daily chart, and it's working quite well, right? Anyway, from the monthly chart perspective, there is still a little bit of the space to the downside, and let me explain what I'm talking about. So important thing here is this breakout here, and in that case we are talking about the 2018 July, right? From here, that was the range from where we went much lower. So that's the latest place, latest zone where we've seen the weakness based on the monthly chart, right? So overall, as low as 66,000, right? So the huge breakdown point. Still, from the bulls perspective, as long as we are above, we should be fine. Of course, the current visualization, when we are trying to imagine what might happen if we are going to see the same what we've seen in the combination of the December 2017 and January 2018, it might be a little bit scary. But as long as we are on the monthly chart above the range which has been created in the July 2018, bulls are quite fine. And as you can see, once we broke to the upside, all right, once we broke to the upside in May, June, immediately we retested the zone over here. Now let's switch to the weekly chart, so we know where we are from the monthly chart perspective. Let's have a look where we are from the weekly chart perspective. And it's not bad yet, right? Not that scary as the monthly chart, but of course it's negative while below 10k psychological level. But we do have, on the weekly, we do have this rally over here. We do have this rally. We do have possible demand zone. So we have rally, base, and after the break, another rally, right? Now, if you remember, in June, I held 3 educational webinars here on Global Light Forex YouTube channel. All of them are available in the archive section, so you are more than welcome to visit archive section and check those educational webinars. They were related to the FX market, but the knowledge I share with you working fine on the crypto as well. So in that case, we still have some space down towards 8,500, 8,200, 7,800, right? And it's gonna be very logical within the next few minutes when we are going to discuss a few things, right? So on a weekly, it looks a little bit, just a little bit better. Of course, this rejection around the 2018 open, it's not that great, but still we have a chance to try to hit 8,500, 8,200, 7,800 and try to hold that zone. So let's switch to the daily chart. Let's switch to the daily chart. And if you remember, we were discussing that the current price action over here, right? We were trying to, using the template from the monthly. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, you have to watch latest 2-3 crypto market flow updates here on Global Light Forex channel, all right? So what we were talking about here was some kind of the path because of what happened here after we hit 13,700. We saw the pullback, right? Then we saw the rally and we saw another pullback. They were equal in size, as you can see, right? So in that case, we were checking the size of the rallies as well, right? And in that case, this rally and this rally were equal, right? So again, we saw move to the downside. So again, we were trying to check the size of the move. Oops, I'm sorry, without the shadows. To the downside, right? The size of the move to the downside. And again, this one and this one was almost equal. So we have 2 waves to the downside and again 2 waves to the downside. So I took the rally. And we were discussing one of the scenario is that we are about to see double rally, right? And we are going to retest the falling trend line, and we are going to retest this swing high, right? But looks like this time here on the 25th of July and the next few days, market decided to break that correlation. So for quite a long time we were correct when we were drawing the possible path, right? But something has changed lately, right? So we just had one rally instead of double rally as we've seen before. okay? And now the question is, what's going to happen when we are going to take into the consideration wave to the downside, right? First wave to the downside, we are down, right? So are we going to see, because we're trying to hold the swing low, so are we going to see another attempt to rally, and we are going to try to build the range, all right? Or based on what happened on 25th with this upper shadow, we are going to draw same size wave down, right? And that's what would be very, very healthy. Hey, come on, Piotr, you said that you are positive and you want to see the deeper move to the downside. Guys, that would be good. That would be good. Look where we might see from here, straight move to the downside, what we might get. It's something around 8,000. And if you remember, that's also it's going to be bottom of that channel. Bullish flag. Possible bullish flag. Right? And if you remember, when we were somewhere here, and it was somewhere around the mid of June, 12th of June, everyone and his dog was talking about possible head and shoulders. Everyone and his dog was talking about the head and shoulders. Usually the first one is not working, right? So what happened, we broke through strongly, and right now, not the head, top of the head, because one can argue, Piotr, I read many books, and I've seen that should work as support the head, right? Yeah, with the first test. But guys, probably you are not going to find in the book, but yeah, if you are going to find inside some book, let me know which one. The shoulders are working much better. The shoulders are working much better. So what we have, the wave to the downside, first wave to the downside. If we are going to double, boom, we have three logical levels, right? Because we have the equal size in the move to the waves to the downside. We have logical possible demand based on the daily chart, as well as the bottom of the channel. Boom, that's it, right? So if you are a bull, I'm not saying we might not start to rise from here, right? So depends on your approach. If you are a day trader, you are still looking here around this swing low, trying to grab few dollars. But from the medium and long-term perspective, if we are going to continue, if we want to see continuation to the upside because of some expectation, halving next year, whatever, if you remember, if not, then go back to the archive section, watch previous videos. I've been talking about that we might see some kind of the pullback, we might see some kind of the consolidation. Check Litecoin, what was the Litecoin behavior ahead of the halving, right? So we might see the start of the Bitcoin bull rally again from around, I would say, October, November. So it's a time, still the time to push the lower, to consolidate before higher levels. So in that case, from medium long-term perspective, 8,500, 7,800 looks like key for me. But what if you are a bear? If you are a bear, you are using 10K as a first supply, psychological level. You are using 10K trying to trade towards 8,500, 8,200, 7,800, right? So the psychological one. So that's what we have here. That's what we have here. Once we broke through 10K, we broke through 10K 24th of July. Next day we saw the retest upper shadow rejection and continuation to the downside, right? So we know that we have some supply around 10K and 10K, 10,200, right? In case we are going to go higher, I think that the range which has been created on the 20th of July should work as supply as well, right? Either here or swing high over here. So in case of breaking 10k 200, right, we might see 10,400, 10,500 as a supply, or higher towards 11,000. So that's where the bears are trying to counter the move to the upside, right? So trying to summarize Bitcoin versus USD from the medium and long-term perspective, I'm not saying we are not gonna hold this 9,000, this swing low, but for the healthy of the move, let's move lower, let's finish all the businesses we have to finish, let's try to retest 8,500, 7,800 and see the rally to the upside from here, right? Bears are short-term bears are looking to sell around 10,000, 10,200. If that's not gonna work, then 10,400, 10,500, and if that's not gonna work, around 11,000. If that's not going to work, then I'm sorry, bears, the next chance might be much higher. So that's how I see the things in relation to Bitcoin to the dollar. Now, Ethereum versus US dollar. That's what we discussed as well, right? And unfortunately, once we hit the supply base on this weekly chart, which has been discussed, we are not talking about the history. In many cases, we are preparing ourselves. We are building trading plans. So we are talking about the things well in advance before they happen. So it's nothing extraordinary. Just check the previous videos and you are going to get that. So unfortunately, once we hit this supply around 380, we saw strong rejection. We were discussing move back towards the previous range, something around 250. Unfortunately, we didn't hold 250. We broke straight through and we retest 200. Now, what's the point here, right? What's going to happen? Now, the range which has been created at the very beginning of the November 2018, right? Because it's a weekly chart ahead of this strong breakdown to the downside. That's the place where we saw the weakness, right? And as you can see, we saw the breakout to the upside mid-May 2019, the week of the mid-May, right? So right now we are testing this space where markets show the weakness, right? We are testing as well the bottom of this breakout candle, right? And we're trying to hold these levels, okay? That's quite positive, that we are trying to hold psychological 200 level. What is not attractive from the bull's perspective is that we are below 230, 250, okay? We are below this breakout level. And as long as we are below, it's, you know, it's still negative. It's still negative. So we have to get back at least above 2030 to try to make it neutral instead of bearish. And once we are above 230, we might see 250 to 60, and moving above will open the way towards higher levels. So it's not bad because we are above 200 psychological level, but it's still bearish because we are below 230. To make it neutral, would be good to see the move and close, weekly close, above 230. So both Bitcoin and Ethereum short term doesn't look good, both negative, right? But medium term, that's what I've mentioned about the Bitcoin. Looks good. Here on Ethereum, medium long term would be good if we are hold above 200. If we are about to see the spike to the downside eventually, right? If we are eventually going to see the spike to the downside, you don't want to see the move below 150. That's crucial, I would say here, right? This breakout point and move above this. So yeah, short term both negative, medium long term still not bad, but I don't have only negative informations. Let's switch to Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Ethereum versus Bitcoin, weekly chart. And I've been talking about this previously. Doesn't look that bad. And I'm going to try to explain what I'm talking about. Doesn't look that bad on the weekly chart here, right? The thing is, we have this downward channel here, right? Now, there is a 25 possible supply over here, but let me explain what I'm talking about. As long as we hold the bottom of the channel, right, there is a possibility we are going to see a little bit higher levels. Now, to draw any kind of the trend line, you have to have 2 points. Usually, when you are approaching third time, when you are testing something third time, you are about to see the reaction, and that's what we've seen currently, right? Maybe it's not the mega bullish bounce, all right? It's rather, for now, dead cat bounce. But as long as we are holding above 0.02, we do have a chance to see at least 0.025, okay? So that would be good, the bounce of the Ethereum versus Bitcoin, because that might create the opportunity for other altcoins to try to rally versus Bitcoin as well. That's the first thing. The second thing is that as long as we are hold the bottom here, right, we might see attempt to move higher towards the top of that range above 0.03 currently, right? So my scenario here, as long as we are hold on a weekly close, on a weekly base and close above 0.02, I do believe we might see the rally towards 0.025. All right, we might see some kind of the pullback to retest this 0.02, but overall, after such a situation and consolidation, I see attempt to go higher. Of course, we need to take out top of the downward channel to create the possibility of the higher levels of the Ethereum versus Bitcoin, right? But as long as we hold this bottom, it's positive short term from that perspective. Unfortunately, if we are going to break this consolidation phase we have right now inside this downward channel, we might see this type of the price action. We might see huge Niagara fall, right? So be careful. Once we are close below, we might speed it up, and it might be either the overall bearish view for whole crypto space, or it might be because of the huge unusual Bitcoin rally, right? I don't know what's going to happen. So guys, that's it from me today in relation to the crypto update. Stay tuned. If anything interesting happen, I will make another one. In terms of the FX market, in terms of the indices, you are more than welcome to join me tomorrow pre-London Open as usual, 8 AM CET. Have a great rest of the day and see you around.